Hello, and welcome back to Absolute BSS, the casualpetitive look at Bandai Namco's Battle Spirits Saga card game. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron, and joining me this week, we've got our buddy Angel. How you doing, Angel?
Doing good. How you doing, Cam and Eric?
Good. And Eric. How you doing, buddy?
Hey everybody.
Long time no see, Eric.
I know. We spent Cam made a joke. We've been playing a lot of Persona 3 and
Yeah.
Cam made a joke that our social link advanced at least 2 stars
At
over
least.
the weekend.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like my bond with Eric will grow stronger soon.
I am thou art I.
Man, it's I'm still tired. We had a whirlwind of a weekend. Eric and I went up to Indianapolis for the Indiana Midwest BSS tourney hosted by the Brick Brothers at Bulldog Community Gaming. That was just incredibly fun. We're gonna talk about that. Spend some time today recapping that event and what has been coming out of early set 4 playtesting. As we're in that little interim still before the next set comes out. But before that, just wanted to catch up with you guys. What have y'all been up to? We were talking a little bit before the podcast, but yeah, just what have y'all been playing? What have y'all been doing? What are y'all excited about? Like halfway through February already.
Already, I know. It's like, where did it go?
Yeah, a lot of stuff out right now and a lot of stuff coming out. So just
Yeah.
checking in. How you doing? You want to start, Angel?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously, apart from still working like a dog, I've been playing games on my phone in my spare time, so I don't go crazy. I've been hopping a little here and there on Magic Arena on my phone, trying to try out that new murder set, whatever. I forget the last part of it is, but that's just pretty fun. Been playing Hearthstone, Marble Snap, those kind of things that are quick and easy. But really, I've been keeping up a lot and trying to get into, if not, at least get the physical product until at least the digital client comes out. We were just kind of talking this before on Dragon Ball Z Fusion World.
That's right.
Or maybe it's called Dragon Ball Super Fusion
Dragon
World.
Ball Super Card Game Fusion World.
Fusion World. So,
Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Yeah. Obviously a lot of hype on that. I mean, there's a lot of other games coming out. Like you got the Star Wars stuff coming out. There are people have been seeing some leaks and stuff and some opening cards this past weekend. But definitely the one I'm most interested in is obviously Dragon Ball Z. Those of you guys that don't know, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z nerd. I have a room full of statues that I have to probably open up some more boxes that I have since I moved here. But I'm excited for that card game. Looks pretty fun. Anything Bandai seems to be fun as far as the play style goes. But other than that, just kept up with the stream with you guys. You guys did a fantastic job and seeing what people were kind of brewing for set 4, which we'll get into it. But there's obviously a clear champ among set 4, at least early on. So we kind of talked about. But other than that, yeah, that's what I've been into. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, basically just going to Indiana, coming back, and then playing lots of Persona 3. And that's basically been my life. I need to download. So is there an app already for the Dragon Ball Z game?
There's not.
There's not. There's a beta.
Learning app. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should go ahead and download that, though, and just give it a shot.
Yeah. And there are a couple of YouTube videos for it, too. But
it's super simple. Like, it's so much more simple than...
It just feels like One Piece with bigger numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So.
Okay. One Piece with big numbers. I got it. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I will say that at least the physical cards, because when we were at Worlds, I went to the booth. I mean, don't shoot me down, One Piece players, but man, the Dragon Ball Z artwork and like the texture, holographic full of it is insane. It's like next level. Like,
yeah. I love the character designs. The artist does Dragon Quest also, and Sandland coming out later this year, based on the manga. But yeah, the cards look super fun. I love what Bandai does with these existing IPs, right? Like they have art for decades for these IPs, but they still hire new artists to make new art for a lot of these. And like that's just. That little extra detail there just goes such a long way for new fans and returning fans alike. So if you're watching the video version of the podcast right now, I'm just kind of scrolling through this first set of Dragon Ball Fusion World cards, and they just look so good.
Yeah, there's the secret rares, the alternate black art, I think they call the energy markers for them. Amazing, like it's really good. If you guys haven't seen any of the cards yet, and you're interested in the game, I'm gonna go to the website. They have every single set release of the first set, Awaken Pulse, I think is what it's called,
Yep.
which comes out the 21st, and then the starter decks come out this Friday. So hit up your game stores and good luck, because everywhere I've called, they've ordered a very small amount. I even called Tabletops on our side, and he said he would have a very small amount. So, but he's not sure. So we'll see.
Do we know if there's a TTS mod for this already?
Not that I know of.
There probably
Okay.
is. I'll have to do some
Yeah.
looking tonight.
Because I would honestly be super down to just jam some games, try it out.
Yeah, for sure. And then again, that digital client, I guess the date floating around that you heard was March 16th.
March 16th, yeah, will be. It got pushed back an extra month for, I guess, tweaking after the beta feedback, which is a good thing, right? Anything we've learned from Bandai is that they definitely take the feedback, so it's a good thing. I'd rather have them push it back and be a good client than bring it out just to rush it, and then we're complaining about how buggy it is or how the cards don't work. So
yeah,
I played the beta. It was very fun.
Yeah, the beta was fun. They actually had it at Worlds so that you could sit down and try it out to get a demo deck. And man, it's fun. The animations, the card, I mean, the gameplay was seamlessly. It seemed very fast paced. I think I jammed out about 3 or 4 games in less than maybe half an hour.
That's so ideal.
Wow.
It's really good. Like, it's really good, and I really like the mechanic of the leaders awakening. That kind of speeds up the game a little bit more, which reminds me a little bit of Battle Spirits, where like the more cores you have, all right, now it's like the things start snowballing and getting bigger and bigger. So I like that. So.
Yeah.
3 to 4 games in 30 minutes. Sounds like I got a new toilet game.
That's right. I've also got a new stream game, man. Like I can't wait to just learn and play live and start doing some more like card game streams, but with a dedicated digital client. Like it just looks so smooth and cool. Like I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball fan. I used to watch it when I was a kid, but like I know the characters and stuff. Like I played the video games, but the card game just looks really, really good in the at least the PC client looks like it'll run really well.
Yeah.
And then of course later on that'll come to Android, then Mac, then iPhone. In that order, I think I heard that. So
I think it's in that side order.
Yeah. So physical release this weekend, digital client in about a month on the PC, and then we'll start seeing it roll out on mobile platforms and Mac. So that's
really
pretty
hope.
Cool.
I really hope like Digimon and all these other Bandai games, like One Piece, at some point go to that. Just because, sometimes with the Bandai games in certain game shops, it's hard to really play physical. I mean, I would love to play physical any day, right? You interact with the people and travel. But it kind of falls into that same umbrella as Battle Spirits, where like you have to go to these big events to really play the physical card game.
Right.
But what I think I like about Fusion World is that it's gonna be hand in hand. So the meta, you can play digitally and practice per se, right? If you have all the cards that you need, and then pick up a deck physically and then go play at a major event if you can go to one or find one. And that's really kind of wish like Digimon and One Piece eventually get to that, because it just makes it so much easier. And even for like streaming purposes, right? That's one of the things I love Magic Arena about. Like you can just play the same set digitally in the comfort of your home while you're drinking, or while you're in your boxers. It doesn't matter. You know? It's good. So I like it. So we'll see. I'm excited for a new card game. I was kind of disappointed last year with I'm not gonna lie, with Shadowverse and Disney Lorcana didn't really tickle my feather, you could say. Like it was cool. But it ain't what I thought it was gonna be. Like it's fun, the cards look cool, but it's kind of like I kind of see that face kind of going like the hype is going there.
So, I agree completely about Lorcana for sure. Shadowverse we've talked about, like we were hyped on it. We just didn't have anywhere to play it after that one event. Like I still have like all my cards sleeved, like ready to go, a couple decks made, but I haven't touched that too. Which is a bummer. But back to Dragon Ball having the digital client and the physical cards and those being around at the exact same time, right? Like the same release schedule, the same cards, same meta, like you're saying. I wonder if at Bandai Fest or like the World Championship for this game next year maybe, if there will be a physical card tournament and a digital one, because the digital one is a really simple way to have players who play with different languages play against each other for a real world's kind of feel. And so if they set up like kind of like a LAN thing and you don't have the physical cards, but you want to compete just as much, and you have your digital account, they just have you log in on a computer there, and you can play against anybody. I think that'd be really
I can
neat.
see that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Kind of like what Hearthstone does.
Yeah.
With digital. Yeah, I can definitely see that because I will say this. At least at this Worlds, when I went to the Dragon Ball Z side, I mean, they had the Dragon Ball Z Fighter C event going on, which is a PlayStation game and all that, and then they had other Dragon Ball Z games like tournaments. So I don't see why that would be hard at all to have like couple, setups for the digital client.
Yeah.
Or even play from home, right? And then you just stream it at the event
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Like Runeterra or something. Yeah. Like there's
so.
just a huge space there. And we're seeing Bandai test these like learning apps, right? Like they're totally scripted. They look great and they can play the game in a very basic setting, right? Like they did it with Dragon Ball, they did it with One Piece, they did it with Digimon. We don't have a Battle Spirits Learn to Play app yet, but also this is the first like big digital client alongside a launch. I know that it got pushed back a little bit, but like if that does come out on March 16th, that's still pretty good. And just if this is successful, bringing in a Digimon client or a Battle Spirits client or a One Piece client and having them coexist, but just it's the same game, same meta, it can bring in a bunch of more people. I think that is the move, right?
And I mean, part of that too, like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I know they want to support local game stores as well. I'm not saying take away the game.
Absolutely.
But there's some stores or some areas, some cities, some states, some regions that struggle with getting product, right? We've heard in Discord a couple of the guys are out there on the Europe side that sometimes they struggle to get product. But at least if you want to play the game with digital client, at least in the meantime, I mean, it's not the answer, but you can play the game and know what the cards are and then kind of at least be part of it. So like you said, like those that can't participate physically because the card product or whatever distributions are going bad, you can at least still play it some form of fashion in an online setting, tournament based or something like that. So
yeah,
I think that'd be fun.
Well, God forbid another pandemic happens and we all go into lockdown again, and all of these
be
card
careful,
games
Ken.
are out of luck. Yeah, like I hate to speak that into existence, but like
you guys spoke Golden Sun into existence.
That's true. We have a lot of power.
That's true. $1 million in my bank account, please. Right?
Yeah. Money.
If you think about it, like that's what happened with Magic Arena, right? That was kind of around the same time frame where they kind of destroyed Pro Tour in a way, changed it all up.
Yeah.
But I could see. I mean, and honestly too. I mean, we all have to be realistic at some point. Like the new age is all digital. I mean, look what we're doing right now. This is all digital stuff. There's YouTube streaming. There's Twitch. There's all this CCG games coming out nonstop.
Yeah.
I seen this evolution of like kind of like what Pokemon's been doing it for years. So kudos for them. But like physical translating into digital with whatever you buy, so your money's like double worth it, right? If you still want to get to the physical card game, even Fusion War, right? Like, cool, I'll buy a starter deck because I want the physical cards to get some kind of monetary value out of them personally, right? If you think they're gonna go something, but I can also translate this into the digital client. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be like a hand to hand. Like, I'm not sure if you buy a structure deck, you're gonna get a code for the structure deck, like what Pokemon is, which might be like you're gonna get gems and a couple packs. I mean, I don't know what that looks like yet, but either way though, it's nice to have, right? It feels like that $4 or $5 you're spending on a booster pack or that $14 you're spending on a deck, it's going more further for you than just sitting there, right? So I like it.
I was say, if you really want Bandai to make a digital app for your game, even if you're not super interested in this, like just download it.
Yeah,
like
just
like
download
bump up their numbers. Play it a little bit, see if you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine. But give it a try, because I think even if you're like a Battle Spirits player and you're not really interested in moving to another game, or a One Piece player and you're not really interested in trying this game out, at least download the app and like give it some playtime so that Bandai can see that there's interest. Yeah. And then that way maybe your game will get one of these apps later. Like, we got to show them, like, the same way that we give them the feedback and then they like come back and improve stuff for us, we got to show them that we're going to support what they're doing so that there's actually incentive for them to make a digital app for these other games.
Yeah, and that barrier there is already lowered because we know they listen to the feedback of the surveys and stuff like that. Like they are generally more in touch with the player base than a lot of other companies. That's not saying that they're perfect and they listen to everything we want. Obviously, they're still gonna make their own decisions at the end of the day. But yeah, Eric's totally right. Like, it just seems like they've been testing the waters, and especially for Digimon, like, right? They're digital monsters. Make a digital client. It's the easiest thing in the world. Like, like I've played the scripting app, and there is a little bit of like, player interaction there. Not nearly as much as Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, but those have apps. Those have video games. Like, it's possible, and I hope to see that not take over the physical world at all, but just another way to help people build up the game itself. Like SoulForge Fusion, SoulForge Fusion, for example. It used to be SoulForge. It was an online client thing. And then for whatever reason, that went away. They brought it back. They kickstarted it as a physical card game. And then everyone played it and they're like, wow, this is really fiddly. I wish this was digital. So they're making a digital client. And just, I love SoulForge Fusion, but I don't have anyone to play it with, really. So once that comes out, I'm going to be able to play that game again, and I'm really, really excited about it. And Dragon Ball, back to that, like, I'm probably not going to be able to find physical product. I don't want physical product, but I do want to play the game. So when the digital client comes out, hell yeah, I'll play it. Hell yeah, I'll put $20 into it at the beginning and get some cards and like actually learn the game. And then I can do whatever I want with it after that. Like, it just makes sense.
The game, right? Like,
exactly.
I mean, if we want to talk about like in a business mentality aspect, like, it's still revenue for the IP or for the Bandai game. So if you're supporting the digital client because it's whatever you prefer method to play, it's nothing against the physical players that go to the local game store. It's just, I think it's helping make more product because people are still interested in that game in one form or fashion, right? And, we can speak on ours and the whole debate between digital client and physical aspect of card games, because we have a lot of the old school heads are like, oh, card games need to be played in person. And to an extent, yes, right. But at the same time, for business to prosper, nothing beats that at all. But if you want to prosper in this new age, like, you have to adapt with the times, right?
Yeah.
It's time frames. People are busy. It's so much, like, it was joking about it. Dude, you can sit in the toilet and you can play a Cash Out game in 20 minutes.
You can practice. That's the thing.
Before you go to the local game stores, So it's just like, it's just a very easy, and how easy it is for me, like, if I can't find products, instead of being frustrated and paying these ridiculous prices from sculptures, hey, I'll put my credit card, buy whatever, $20 worth of gems, and I can buy whatever, 10 packs or whatever the hell the currency falls into. And you don't have to deal with the whole, like, market adjustment and plain stock market. Like, I got to buy this one card that's like $50 right now when you can buy a bunch of packs. So, there's pros and cons to everything. So I'm excited to see how it does. I mean, I'm excited for the game. The gameplay, if you have not tried to play the beta, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Super intuitive. If you like any Bandai game, honestly, like, it's not gonna feel like new. Like, it's new really elements to it, but it's gonna translate very easily. Exactly.
Bandai, if you're listening, hear me out. I just thought of an idea. Ooh. What if you made one single app, and on that app you can play any Bandai card game digitally? There's one currency system. You can purchase packs of Battle Spirits, packs of One Piece. You could, like, maybe if you have extras of cards, you dust them and then you turn them into One Piece cards. You turn them into Battle Spirits cards, and then you can, like, basically
crafting mats.
It onboards, and then you could also have, like, when you're playing your Battle Spirits game, maybe you won like a really cool, like, One Piece, like, character to represent yourself on the app, and you, like, use like that avatar. Like, there's so much potential there because of all those different games. Like, if you mash them all into one single app, you could potentially onboard people to games. Like, hey, just for signing in 3 days in a row, here's a Dragon Ball starter deck. Go check the game out. And now, like, you're onboarding people like that. It's just that easy to get people into these other games.
That's genius.
Like, yeah, I think honestly something like that would be super cool. I don't know what the complexities of that would be. I'm sure that would, like, greatly increase the complexity of this app, but I honestly think it'd be really awesome if it was just like a digital Bandai Games app, and it was just
it makes everything. Sense. It makes sense because, like,
and it's connected to your account.
It's connected to your account, right? And Bandai has an advantage where they have all these trading card games that people are interested in. Like you said, that's a perfect idea to have it all inclusive. Like, I played Legends of Runeterra, rest in peace, for a long time. And, one thing I liked about that game was every season you get a different icon based on how far you went in the ranks, or if you did a gauntlet, you would get a specific icon to really identify yourself. And we all know we're collectors, right? We're all suckers.
Exactly.
You can give me an icon of a cupcake, and I gotta get that because it's only in the month of February, So I think that's a great idea where Bandai, at some point, if they can do that, right, have all their IPs under one app. Because honestly, all the games I play for Bandai, I'm trying to think, apart from Union Arena that's about to come out. That's the only one that I haven't played yet. But they've been fun. Yeah, you might not like the tournament aspect of certain games versus the others or whatever, but whatever. But as far as the game mechanics go, it's different enough per game, but still very similar. That's very fun. Digimon, One Piece, we were kind of like, not sure about it. And me and Eric played, I think, for the first time when we went to Tulsa, and we had a blast. Like we played for like, I don't know, I think we played like 10 games. So I'm like, oh my god, I know Cam's gotten into it too. He was talking about it for a while. So and that's what I really feel like Fusion World is gonna be like. It's very not a Dragon Ball Z Masters is not a good game. It's just overly complicated for new beginners.
Yeah.
That this game is really going to open that level. And the digital client will help with that, right? Because you can kind of streamline what you're doing compared to having to go to a game store that possibly plays that game and have a bunch of veteran players be like, well, we don't have time to show you right now. Like,
right.
Yeah. It's too complicated. Go sit over there, So go play Pokemon. So.
Yeah. It's just, it just all makes too much sense,
Yeah.
It's.
It's like I'm so sorry. This is Chewbacca. It does not make sense. It's like, well, this makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah. But either way, I'm very excited for Bandai Namco. They've got a lot going on, a lot in the pipeline, not just with Battle Spirits, but definitely with Battle Spirits. Set 4 coming out on the horizon. The Evangelion collaboration starter deck and set, as well as booster set 5 already getting, information leaked about that. Some like,
you seen that Absolute Ice Shield? Looks beautiful.
Yeah. So just a lot of cool stuff coming up. Which set 4? You guys want to talk about it? We've got some good set 4 numbers starting to roll in as people are hosting some proxy tournaments and gearing up for this new release. The big bad wolf of the set seems to be this one on screen, Deep Sea Emperor Hydra.
Yeah.
Hydra.
Man, that was crazy. We saw Hydra just like tear up the Midwest tourney.
Yeah. Just Hyrule City.
We talked about Hydra. And I'll say this, like looking at the stream and, just set 4 really changes the game around. Like you could really tell how the playstyle was so much different. We're leveling up the spirits now. You really have to watch your life count because them double symbols are very dangerous. And Hydra, it's just a menace, man. Like I was laughing anytime I saw and Hydra comes out again. It's like, oh man.
Yep.
Turn 3, turn 4.
Yeah, it was insane. And there's some other spicy decks that people were playing that I liked. Definitely I like the idea of this token purple kind of thing that was kind of floating around. And it's early, right? The set's not even really out yet, but it's coming out soon. But I'm telling you, man, set 4 has a lot of good things to really just change the game so much and so many different variables and mechanics and dynamics with the cards and what they do that helps the other cards from like set 3 and set 1 especially really kind of like solidify it. So I'm really excited. This is like the last set of the season, right? For this chapter, I guess you could say. I'm excited for it, man. Like looking at the stream, what people were playing, and just some of the play style or some of the combos they were trying to go off, and it was crazy. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. I had no idea you could get. I knew Hydra was going to be like speeding up the game. I had no idea you could get Hydra out that early. Like watching people like turn 3 Hydra, and then basically if your opponent doesn't have an answer, it's kind of just over. Was crazy. It's an aggro deck, but like not in the typical like go wide aggro.
Yeah, it's not like, that traditional. It's just a different kind of aggressive. It does the same things, right? It's taking the same amount of health out, but it's with one really powerful card or like the combo that sets it up. Another thing that we saw a little bit after Hydra, a good backup is just dropping Allegro, who does similar things and gets put into pole position by Hydra with that mill ability. Like, Blue was like, just walked onto the scene real casually, and then they just exploded in set 4. Yeah. I'm so excited to see what else comes of it. And we haven't even talked about Ira yet over in red, or double symbol Toki in green. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up.
And I think that's what's gonna happen, right? I was thinking about this the other day. Like Nothing against. I mean, Hydra's a really good card, right? And I
Sure.
think it's funny. Anybody that I talk to, their deck building is really just to kind of counter Hydra, or sort of like
Yeah.
deal with Hydra. It's kind of neat, right? It's gonna be a scary threat. But what I think is gonna happen, and this is my prediction, doesn't mean nothing, but Hydra in a way reminds me of what Terrasource was, right? It's very easy. You know what you
Mm.
kind of got to do. So everybody's playing it, and they're ignoring the Iras, the Rixas, these other cards that can be a little bit more technical later on. That once the
Yeah.
Hydra volume phases out, then you can see the real like purple white decks coming out. Like it was that one where like, oh man, this card's really good with the elephant and this and Axe Biter. Cause that's what I see. I see a lot of Hydra, which makes sense, right? It's Hydra. It's really good.
Yeah.
What I don't want to say it's a one trick pony, but we know what Hydra wants to do. That once these technical decks start coming out, or more like intuitive like combo decks come out, where like or Iris kind of slotted in here randomly, or Yellow's doing this. I think we'll see. I mean, Hydra will still be relevant, but I don't think it'll be like up there because now you kind of have all these other decks that are really more learning curve, I guess you could say. It's a little bit more technical, a little bit more combo what you want to do, kind of like what Smag was, right? Where like
Yeah.
you really have to like learn how to play what you're trying to do with it. Where blue, like you said, blue is like, all right, I'm gonna mill you, and I got Hydra, and I'm gonna try to end you as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That's just my prediction. That's something what's gonna happen. It reminds me a lot of when Set One came out. It was just Jano Rex everywhere, right? Jano Rex, because it knows what it wants to do. You go on board, you do this, boom, boom, boom. You're kind of automated with it in a way. There's still some technical play, obviously. I'm not saying by no means Hydra doesn't
Sure.
take technical play. You really have to learn when to play it, what to do with it, along with the other cards that go along with it. But yeah, it's just I just feel like that's my prediction because that Force just has too many other good cards as well that it
Yeah.
just didn't get enough spotlight yet. But I get it, Hydra's the answer right now, so I was like, why not? Why not play it? So
Yeah. I think that's all fair to say. And yeah, to that point, like you're right. It is the easy thing to play, especially like in a proxy tournament. You don't want to put too much thought into it with when there's that much of a new set. You're just like, I want the thing that goes burr and that feels cool and feels fun. And you're right. Like a lot of these sleeper cards that we don't even know are sleeper cards yet are going to awaken, pun intended, and
they're going to ascend.
are gonna rock some face. And so I'm excited to see that too, because yeah, like we even talked about it when Smag came out. We're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I don't really know how to use Smag, but like that's a neat thing. That'll probably be relevant later. And then it wins Worlds. So
Yeah.
we've definitely learned our lesson for calling Gale the big bad boogeyman. Um, Hydra could end up being the same way. I think Hydra's a little different because it's not just a one-trick pony; it's like a three-trick pony. But Hydra might end up becoming its own pod, right? Or packet, like we talk about deck building, which is also exciting, opening up new things. Like how do I get Hydra out fastest, or how do I get Hydra out in multiples, or how do I get Hydra out with support for an OTK? Like there will be different Hydra decks even moving into set 4, I think. And we saw a little bit of that between Strider's list and Andrew's list over the weekend at Bulldog Gaming. Just what tech you splash in. Like Strider was running green Nexuses, green creatures that could ramp onto 3-cost Nexuses, that new Leaf Kindred, and then was able to use Thorn Prison. And other bounce cards in Andrew's list with like Seabed being able to turn off any kind of counter. So there are different supports for this budding Hydra deck. And that's just really how I've lined into playing Battle Spirits moving forward, is like finding these packets and mixing them together. But what do you think? What do you guys think? Just in general.
I think the Hydra is extremely powerful. I wouldn't be surprised to see it take the same path that Gale has taken, where it's very scary, very powerful and scary, but then like as people kind of figure it out and people start teching against it, it's still a really strong deck and it's definitely competitively viable, but maybe like you're not as afraid of it because maybe game 1 you find out it's a Hydra deck and then game 2 you sideboard in all your tech and then you're ready to go. I think purple actually has a really good shot at dealing with Hydra because especially the really aggro Hydra decks, like where they're trying to rush into Hydra, you can if they're turn 3 Hydra-ing, it means that the Hydra is on its own, so
Right.
Deadly Balance just takes it out. Also, if they're going early Hydras, then maybe something like Core Theft, you could manage to like remove like just by discarding like 2 cards from your hand, remove all the cores off the Hydra.
Yep.
So I I definitely think that purple has some really good tools to deal with it. And we even saw it go against purple in the finals of our of the Bulldog Community Gaming tournament that we casted, and I think it was just a little unfortunate. I think that purple just didn't really see a lot of what they needed to see to
Yeah.
deal with this situation. There was a really cool counter curse play that
Yeah.
happened that I was really excited about because I love that card. I think that card's super cool. So
Exactly.
I'm
So
really
yeah,
excited to see that.
I definitely think purple. And I've been talking with a few people about it. I think I talked to you guys about it. Like purple definitely has one of those, especially with this set, right? There's so much core control. There's so much destruction cards. Even the spirits, like with set 4, your cursed creatures come now. They have more advantage, right? They could be aggro, just pushing for damage to either if they block, they destroy, or you have cards, like Mirror Cast or whatever, where like I'm gonna sack my cursed card. Now you need a sack of spirit. So if you only had the one Hydra, I'm forced. So now you have almost like 4 or 5 different types of deadly balances in the game.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not including double deadly, right? If you do have some other
Yeah.
smaller spirits you have to deal with. All right, double deadly this turn, play deadly balance for 1. Now you still have destroy Hydra, whatever. So I think purple definitely has a good shot at this. But like I said, again, it's early. We gotta see what everybody else brews. But I definitely think it's that Hydra is gonna be good. I think the one thing that I will give Hydra over Terror or Gigantic Rex kind of play style is that you have destruction with Hydra, right? And the raid is very scary because you're swinging in for 2, possibly again. But you also have the power of what blue is, which is like their nexus are freaking absurd what some of those nexus do.
Yeah.
And not even to mention, and we said it, right? It does not matter how good your deck is, or even like what you're talking about purple. It doesn't matter how good I tech against Hydra or purple deck I have. If I'm getting milled the hell out of my cards, I can do a goddamn thing. So it doesn't matter. So and that's the one thing that I think Hydra slash package that we're talking about with Blue has an advantage over with Rex. Rex was kind of like, I gotta go wide. I need my little spirits for cost reduction. Blah 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 blah. Where Blue is like, hey, that's fine. You take out my Hydra. I'm still milling 4 or 5 cards a turn. I might be milling some of those answers. So like to your point, Eric, yeah, game 2 you're attacking against me. But if I'm milling those tech cards, it doesn't matter, right? So that's
Yeah,
where I
that's a
think
good point.
Hydra is scary. I mean, Hydra's scary by itself, but Hydra's in a color that set 4 has completely like boosted. Like blue is super scary in set 4 with some of those cards. And Seabed Lighthouse. I mean, that card wrecked me at Worlds when people played it against me. I'm like, oh great. Now you just turn off my Thorn Prisons. Now you just turn off
Yeah.
my, Absolute Ice Shield from hand or my Dream Bomb. So and blue just does it all. I mean, you got destruction, you got absolutely ridiculous nexuses, they got drawing ability, they got milling, they have their own kind of form of ramp. So blue is crazy. Blue's crazy. So
Yeah. And not to mention green. Like, just the importance of splashing extra colors. Not necessarily going full rainbow like we've seen in set 3, but just having it, really considering out of color creatures, out of color nexuses, and out of color spells, and when those can all be effective, is something that's going to separate the field of competitive and casual players. I really do believe that. I have on the screen Bark Maiden Lucerium, right? It's a new green X rare. I'll go over it real quick. 3 cost, 1 reduction, Leaf Kindred Spirit. At level 1 and 2, when this spirit attacks, you select one of your other Leaf Kindred Spirits or one of your Nexuses that cost 3 or fewer. Place a core from the void onto it. That is just good ramp anywhere. Over the weekend, we saw that hit Seabed Lighthouse. So Bark Maiden would just come in, swing, ramp onto the Lighthouse. Then next turn, you'd see Great Sapphire Labyrinth come in and the Squallow, and then Squallow's ramping on Labyrinth. Like, the mix of blue and green was great. And then Strider had like the Totem Pole Nexus. So, with Seabed Lighthouse in the mirror, Strider was still able to play Thorn Prison or Needle Shot. And Needle Shot itself is very effective at tapping down Hydra, but also just anything else. Like, you get to select that spirit, and in a game state or a meta where if Hydra is coming out on turn 3, like Eric said, if it's the only thing on the board, sometimes Needle Shot is all you need, and it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just so much opportunity in so many decks that, like, I'm not going to say that Hydra's going to win Worlds next year. You know, I could never say that. Because of just how, with each new set, how wide these decks are opening. And these metas are just going to be unbelievably varied. And that's just such a refreshing thing to see in a card game.
Well, you know what's going to be really interesting is I was just thinking about how Bandai announced that the new sets are going to come out right before each like major event. So like we're going to get a new set before like the Pro Tour and then before Worlds. Like so think about how different Worlds would have been if this set came out and was legal for Worlds.
Yeah.
People would have been panicking.
Yeah.
People would have been freaking out. But how freaking cool would that have been?
That would have been pretty awesome.
I mean, people were still inventive and creative at Worlds, but I mean, I think it would have been a whole other level. If...
on top of that, you go into the game blind, right? Because there's no established meta now. Like now, you just added a whole new set of card pools where it changes whatever you thought you were gonna be able to do, right? And it's interesting thing. I was thinking about it the other day when we were at Worlds, and I was talking to one of the, I think it's one of the guys on Discord actually. I like it, right? But at the same time, it's how hard is that going to be, right? Like, depending how early they release it to get the cards that you need, right? Like, you just buy a few packs and, like, wish for the best. Because, I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to, like, overnight every single card on TCG Player or wherever you go, you know? So, it's going to be very interesting how that works, depending how, like, early they release the sets before the Worlds. But I definitely like it for the game. It's going to keep the Worlds fresh and any major event fresh because it changes the meta, like, and I like that. Like, what do you tech now? Now you have to go kind of like your tech should probably be based, kind of what Andrew was talking about last time we had him on. Your deck now has tech might be changing to like what is going to work best for your deck and whatever that weakness of your deck is that you think is the weakness for it, because you're not going to know what the deck's going to be. You're not going to know what some of these cards are going to do to your deck or how it's going to stop it or slow you down. So I think it's going to be pretty cool how reactive players can be to add new cards before major events. So
yeah, for sure.
And it'll make the side events even better because now if you don't have the cards, just play side events. Maybe you get the packs.
That's right.
Because right now you run into the problem. Oh, cool! I get another set 2 pack. I already had all these cards. Like, give me something new. So
yeah,
I think I'm excited for it. I think that'll be good. But yeah, to your point though, Cam, like green. Some of these cards from green just remind me of what Worker Ant-Man was like around Gen Con when he first came out. Like, that's the ramp, right? Like the new Kindred Spirit just read. That's the new Worker Ant-Man. It's better, right? Because you're ramping yourself, not your opponent as well, but them taking life. So green doing green. I mean, not to mention you got that green expert ninja guy. Like he's gonna do something. There's gonna be a deck with that guy. Like, I mean, you and I, we and I had played at the live stream.
Yeah.
It's that guy's nuts. There's gonna be something crazy with that guy. I already can see it, which is cool too because his artwork is so Ninja Gaiden. So
yeah, it's so good. Yeah, that's another thing. I've said it before, but like set 4 is just going to be so much fun to open, and if they continue along this path, like of like I know it's a lot from a collector standpoint, but like also it makes your deck feel a little different, you know, like which bling you put in. Like there's just so many different versions of these cards, and they all look so good.
That's the one thing I'm about to say. Like, of all the sets, and I think I asked this question one time. Oh, you excited for the set? I think of all the 3 sets we had, like set 3, I was really excited for because set 2, which is such a bust.
Yeah.
But that thing that made set 3 like, oh my god, it's the best set so far, apart from set 1 because it had a lot of staples.
Yeah.
But this set overall, I think it's one of the better ones in the format of like you're gonna have so much bling, like you were saying.
Yep.
These X-rays are probably, apart from set 1, some of the best X-rays we've seen in a very long time. They're very usable. And there's also some really good Magic cards and Nexuses that it really reminds me of what set 1 was, where you had, 4 or 5 really good X-rays, amazing Nexuses, and some really good Magic cards. And this is kind of what it reminds me of. So they did a really good job, like I said, for this being the last set, blinging out some of the artwork, the SPRs, some of the collaboration cards that could be on the set, and just the X-rays themselves. I mean, it really is kind of leading the game to what we want. I think we talked about this in the last podcast, where like the game's gonna be based off my X-ray, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what my deck wants to do. So if I'm playing I'm gonna call him the Ninja Ant. The
Yeah.
Ninja Ant. I got actually Gale Ninja and Shadow. That's his name.
Nice.
Then my deck's gonna be based off all my spamming tokens with this guy. So I really like that because it's like leaders, right? So it's exciting to see.
Yeah. You have the leader, you have the draw engine, you have the ramp engine, and those are your packets, and that's your deck. And then you have the tech and the sideboard, and especially for competitive players, like that is just more important than it has ever been because there are so many cards. Like you have to narrow down as many of your blind spots as possible to your specific, again, leader, draw, and ramp engine. And it's a great game. It's one of my favorites. Like it is getting up there for me as like one of my favorite card games I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's also really fun to watch people play as well. Like when we were streaming that event, like I was having so much fun. We didn't even bring built Battle Spirits decks with us to this event. So we were there all day doing Battle Spirit stuff, but neither one of us played a single game, and I still had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So it was just really a testament to the game that you can have that much fun with it and not even be playing it, just being around it.
It was
being around
it
and
like,
watching people.
Yeah, it was neat to like pull myself out of it, right, and look at it from like the third person and look at a game being played and really just getting a different context of like when cards come out, what you hold, how you look for stuff. Like it's still very valuable to learn, and I had an insanely fun time casting that event.
Well, honestly, it's like at Worlds, right? Like I'd look at it like watching other people play. Whether you would have made a decision different than that person would have, right? Like you said, it's a learning thing, right? Because like you might have been in that situation and you were thinking probably the same thing that player was, but now by seeing them do it, oh wait, that doesn't work like that. Or wait, why did he do that? He should have done this, and you're slowly like learning the deck on what you think you would do while watching them play. So I had a lot of, I mean, I was kind of jealous because I wasn't there, but secondly, I also had a lot of fun watching it, but also kind of. And to Eric's point, like that's what makes me know the game's really fun. Like me watching the stream, like I just want to like leave work and go play Battle Spirits. Like I just want to play the game. Like,
I wanted to play when I got out of it.
Yeah, I just want to play some cards and play. And this year is gonna be very exciting for all the different type of online events and specific pricing. That's really kind of try to hopefully get more player base to play the game. And if the sets keep getting like this, like better and better, which I know they are, because like I cannot speak about how excited I am to have rainbow color reduction. Like that is going to be insane. It's going to be very interesting how to make what you're going to side and what cards you're going to play with different colors. It kind of goes back to the Cam's point where like you probably need to play certain color nexuses. So, that shuts down maybe Seabed Lighthouse now because every deck's running a certain color of whatever you're trying to, reduce. The collabs are only going to get better and better. I mean, I don't know. Step 4, I'm ready to open some packs. Like
me too.
They're really,
they're
really leaning into the Evangelion collab because I saw that there's going to be Evangelion collab cards in set 5 as well.
Oh,
cool. So there's going to be collab cards in set 4. Then there's the collaboration set, and then they're continuing the collaboration in set 5. And I think they might be really leaning into that IP because they're doing those like events where you can only bring collab cards with, and so I guess maybe they're going to continue releasing Evangelion collab cards, and then that way there's almost like a side meta of people who only play with those cards. They still get a steady stream of new stuff to play with.
It's kind of like you wish where you wanted with Gundam, right? That's what we thought Gundam was going to be like. Like, oh my god, give us Gundam version of cards that are actually playable. Which I will say this. I did see on the stream there's somebody playing Void Lords.
That's right.
So, the comment I'm about to make is not as relevant, but I was just about to say, like, give us cards you can actually play. But I did see some Void Lords being played at the stream, which is pretty fun to see. And I really hope those Void Lords have a purpose at some point in this game because I'm still shocked that set 2 was about Void Lords and one like, Void Lords.
That's the thing. Like, if they do end up doing collab sets with like Gundam, for example, and they have multicolor faction reduction and stuff like that, you could bring in those old Void Lords and make them a little more viable. Like if the rest of your deck uses purple and yellow reduction symbols or purple and yellow Gundam characters, then you've got the purple and the yellow Void Lord Gundam at the top end of it, and they make them a little more relevant and can bring in people from outside of this IP, obviously, because it's their own, and bring them into the fold. So that's cool that they're going to continue the Evangelion collab, because you don't want that just lost to legacy over time, right? Like if you have a really fun and it just works out Evangelion deck, you do want a little bit more support. So that's really neat to hear.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to work with future collabs. Like if we do get a different IP that we're getting a collab set for, like is it like like how are they going to do that for set 6 or set 7? Like where are they going to keep releasing Evangelion cards, or are we going to get like if they do another like actual Gundam collab where it's like a big Gundam set, like are we going to start getting Gundam cards, or is it going to be like we'll get a mix of both, or I don't know. Interested to see how that works.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah. I would love a whole Gundam set. I want that.
I would too. And that exists already, right?
Like a whole binder. Yeah, I think it's
in Battle Spirits.
In Japan, like their version of it. I think they got that and Godzilla or something similar to Godzilla.
That's so cool. You know, there might be a Naruto set one day. Who knows?
By the way, the Void Lords do have a purpose right now. They get popped by Hydra, and you have to mill 10 cards.
Oh,
yeah, we saw that happen, too. We saw Hydra mill 2 Void Lords. And then the promo blue ended up taking out 3 more cards for a 23 mil turn, which is just
Milfrog? Is it Milfrog?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to see if it's on BSS Dev yet, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
It's not. It's Sothagoth or something.
It was funny because like I wanted to pull it up on the stream, and then it was like it kept coming up all day, but it's not on BSSDB.
Yeah, and it's a really really good card, very relevant card. It's an aberration. It ramps onto Sapphire Labyrinth and it mills.
Yeah, it's solid. Mill is interesting.
Mill's crazy. Yeah, Mill's scary. I mean, even against, we're playing for fun. When I was playing Cam, I kept milling some of your crucial things you needed for your turn. And when I'm milling, when I'm crushing 4 or 5 cards per turn, the deck sizes in this game are not that big. I mean, unless you're running a 60 card deck, which on average most people are running probably 54, 51 usually.
Yeah.
It thins out, and especially if you're using like Star Blast, Strong Draws, you're thinning it out yourself by drawing so much, so it gets very scary. So
yeah,
I was surprised. Unless I missed it. Was there any Golem decks? I was surprised I didn't see Golem decks. Maybe I missed them.
The only Golems that we saw were Andrew's sideboard tech.
Yeah, his sideboard tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was hoping to see the new X-Rare with the Golem. Here, I'm gonna pull it up.
Oh,
great Adderficers and there.
Yeah, that's what Andrew was playing actually. So yeah, if you go back and I don't know if you got to see that match, but
I didn't see all of it. Yeah, I didn't get to see all of it.
Check out what Andrew does with that card because it blew my mind.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts. Oh, I finally found him. Okay, Sothagua is a 4-cost 2 reduction blue aberration spirit. It's a promo card. At level 1, 2, and 3, during your attack step, when one of your spirits with Ascend attacks, discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. So.
Oh my god.
Hydra, and then at level 2 and level 3, so level 2 for 3 cores, crush +1 when the spirit attacks.
Wow.
And again, it ramps. And that first ability, he's just, there to watch the Hydra eat. It's Jabba Rancor. It's Sathagua or Sathagua and the Hydra. It's amazing.
It's so funny to me that you spoke all of this into existence, Cam.
I did.
Because you were like, I think the aberrations are really cool. I want a really cool aberration X-Rare.
There were just so many of them, and they had nothing to do. I'm like, something is planned for these.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
it was.
Turns out aberrations are the most powerful archetype possibly in the whole game right now.
Yeah, at least after last weekend. Man.
Yeah. I think Hydra's ability just to send using an aberration, it's really like nothing, right? It's like, here you go. Now I'm gonna summon this crazy ass spirit that's about to wreck you for a couple turns. And you're gonna have to punish me for it or use your resources just to get rid of it. And even if you do, oh, guess what? I had another one in hand. So just like,
Yeah.
it's Hydra's just crazy. Like, it's
Well,
crazy.
the reason Hydra is so powerful as well is that a lot of the Ascend spirits that we got need to ascend to come out, and then in order to actually have an effect that's meaningful, they need to meet a specific criteria. Hydra is just like, bam, it's here. It does everything immediately. You don't have to
Yeah.
do any special tricks to make it do that. Like Ira or Ira, however you pronounce it, is like you can use the labyrinth to play Ira, but then you don't get the board clear. And then basically at that point, he's just a big dude with
Yep.
2 symbols, which is not bad, but
No.
it's not nearly as impactful as when you ascend off of a 6 cost or higher and get to wipe the board. So it's like Hydra is just insane because it's like, yeah, I'll just sacrifice my little 2 cost aberration, whatever.
Or
I'll
not.
just or not, I'll just play him for free. And he still does all of the stuff that he does. He doesn't miss out on anything because I didn't actually ascend. So yeah, he's just nuts.
Oh, Sapphire Labyrinth is going to see play, I would argue, outside of blue. Here's how I imagine like ascend forward decks are going to be, right? I think we're going to see blue green. I think we're going to see Hydra and Toki. And Sapphire Labyrinth negating Tokawa's ascend specifically is pretty good because Tokawa wants you to get rid of just a prey bird. Kind of like Hydra. So you can drop that out. You don't get the one summon, but you do still get that redraw. And I don't think Toki is your end goal. Toki's just looking for your Hydras. And so you can you can lean in to like that really quick Gale ramp. You can lean into exhausting your opponents so that Hydra just moves in on its opposed. Like, I think Tokawa and Hydra could be in the same deck together, and Fangwang, and just have a pretty good time. Like Aberrations and Prey Birds. I think that exists. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Until
your opponent hits your Fangwin on the opposite side.
Yeah.
You have to mail that many cards.
That's true. That's true. You got to really, really be looking at those. Like even in our play testing, I Hydra'd 2 Drought Dragons in the same turn. That's 16 cards. That's nuts.
That's insane.
The way that Hydra also enables Allegro is so cool. I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but like Allegro is a card that I think we've all known for quite a while is a very good card. It was just you could never really get the 10 cards in discard very easily unless you leaned into Crush. But it was like I don't really want to lean into Crush. I kind of just want Allegro to be good. Yeah. And Hydra does exactly that. It enables Allegro without you having to do anything weird with your deck. It's just like, oh yeah, Allegro just comes online just from you swinging with Hydra like you would anyways.
Yeah.
So
when your opponent wastes all their resources to kill Hydra and then you drop Allegro next turn, it's incredible.
Yeah. Allegro's kind of like a mini Hydra, really, if you think about it.
You can pop twice per turn as long as you have a Nexus to refresh, So
yep, he basically has raid 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have a blue Nexus on board. I mean, you're gonna have if it's not a great Labyrinth, you might have a Seabed. You're gonna have something on board. So it's interesting, man. I'm really excited for this. I'm curious to see how whatever they're calling it, the pre-Grand Open or whatever it's technically called in Texas. What decks come out of that? That's gonna be very interested to see.
I think we'll see a lot of Hydra and Era, and then I think the tech is gonna start showing itself in
the first major Grand Open.
Yeah. I think the tech will be at that event. I don't think it'll be fully fleshed out enough. So be looking, try to see some deck lists of like the lower numbers there, I think. I am interested though. Very, very
I'm interested in that.
Man, it's gonna be
I hope we see some androids. I hope
I do too. I think we will.
And Android has some shenanigans with them. Like there's some crazy things you can do. It just
Red Eric, baby.
That's right. Dude, bouncing is just a really good strategy in a lot of card games. Like my Keyforge deck that I took to Worlds last year, right? I brought it mostly because of you know, in that game, like if you're controlling my Ember, it's sitting on the board on your opponent's side. And there are a lot of ways that, like, if those creatures get destroyed, you don't get it back. However, if you bounce them back to hand, you do. And so the deck I was running had 2 copies of a card that could bounce 2 creatures at the same time. And, like, that's just a very good control strategy and effective countermeasures to really big problems. I've been leaning into that in Magic Arena, right? So there's, what's it called? Escape Hatch Detective or something. It's like it's one of those disguised blue creatures. You can play it face down, and then when you reveal it, it bounces a card to your opponent's hand. And
that's cool.
That's just really good. I've found that is really good to just end a game. And so Battle Spirits now, we've seen a lot of it, right? With Dream Bomb and some of like Valkyrie. But we're getting a lot more support for the bounce in white. And as we saw with Turbo Rex over the weekend, bounce is still very, very powerful.
I mean, it basically sets your opponent back a turn because now you have to use the resources again. I mean, put it this way, like even last year, it's something worse. Like when I played Maduke, whatever, for 7-8 cores that I have because I don't have enough cost reduction, it gets bounced back. Now next turn I have to do it again. Like it reduces all your resources for 1 card, and at that point you start falling behind in the game where your opponent's going wide or whatever they're trying to do. So yeah, bounce is scary.
Yeah, and Red Eric, that distinction there of bouncing the card to the bottom of your opponent's deck.
I can't say that card without laughing though. Red Eric, I'm just thinking about Eric.
It's me, but red.
It's for Eric.
Yeah. That's actually, that is, they commissioned art. They commissioned me for a portrait. So I actually had to pose in a suit of red armor for Bandai to make that card. It was a long, grueling process, but, you know, you can tell it's me.
Yeah.
So
Toshiaki Takayama definitely nailed your likeness with Red Eric. Shout out.
He was a very sweet man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think with Red Eric, what makes Red Eric so crazy is like it's not to your hand; it goes to the bottom of your deck.
And
it's just like fuck you. We're never gonna see you again.
Like, exactly. There's no tutor cards really. There's not a whole lot of shuffling of cards that happen in your deck that you're somehow gonna see them back in the top layer. Now that I think about it, there might be like a few cards, but it's very rare. But you know, so like it's like, oh, you want to block me? Whack, go to the bottom of your deck. I'll see you game 2. Like, I
don't know. Is there a single card in Battle Spirits that shuffles your deck in the middle of the game? Because I don't think there is.
Not that I can think of, and I could be wrong.
There's like no search, and anytime you reveal cards, they either get discarded or put on the bottom.
Bottom in any order, but it's no, because even like Michaela and all that, just put them back at the bottom of your deck in any order.
That's a good
Which I always understood that card, like, why does it matter what order? Because I mean, I guess it matters if you're somehow gonna thin like
with
deck.
Mill,
never mind. Reverse, with Mill, it might be relevant now, but I don't think there's any cards though that allows you to reshuffle your deck, and so that's what I'm saying. So Red Eric's just a big middle finger.
So like, if you put something at the bottom, it's like you're never seeing that again.
Yeah,
like you'll see it at the end of the game when you're almost milled out.
Yep.
I think maybe this is a subtle design choice also, but like the fact that Red Eric is red, giving it confront with red spells seems pretty fun.
Oh,
right.
That's interesting.
So they have to block, and if it's 7 or fewer, it just gets moved to the bottom of the deck.
So you're saying he goes in my Brandboard deck?
I think he goes in the Brandboard deck. I really, really do. Green, white, red, man.
He's not that expensive. I mean, if you had to pay the full price for him, because that ability is a level 1, 2, and 3. So and he has armor purple and white. So you know, some of those cards that are destruction based or bounce back doesn't really target him. I guess if you're playing against red, you might want to buff him up a little bit because you do have some of these. Burning Force will still be a thing, possibly these other destruction BP cards. But Red Eric is I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of Red Eric. Honestly, even in other colors, I can see Red Eric. So
could you imagine with the confront just like not just wiping your opponent's board, but like sending them all to the bottom of their deck?
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
I mean, I'll put it this way, right? Red Eric, you do that combo right there, right? With confront, and I'm playing whatever, some kind of purple aggro with small, Camelot Knights, all this crap.
Yeah.
I have to block. They're not gonna kill this thing. They're all going to the bottom of my deck. There goes all my cost reduction. Probably half the spirits I had to even play with no magic support. So yeah, Red Eric's gonna be it's fun. It's a funny card, man. Like
It is funny.
It's just like no, not to your hand, sir. To the bottom of your deck. You heard me right. Let's just banish him from the game.
Like, bye bye. Yeah. Gonna bury him under the rubble of your pile. Yeah.
Of your third-rate deck from a fourth-rate duelist. That's a settled kind of card right there.
Yeah. Gosh, fourth-rate duelist is a really good like channel or brand name. If no one's done that yet, honestly, that's really good. Oh boy.
Well, speaking of red, Eric, should we talk about something else that's red?
Great segue. Honestly, yeah, I think we should. This one's gonna be a little shorter this week, just because we're kind of in the interim and news is a little slow now that the worlds have passed and all the cards are spoiled. So Eric came up with a really fun idea. You wanna let everybody know what we're about to do?
Yeah. So this is our Valentine's Day special. We're actually, I don't know when this episode's coming out. Probably not on Valentine's Day
itself. Most likely Thursday, the day after Valentine's Day.
But we're recording it on Valentine's Day.
We are.
So we are all hanging out on Valentine's Day. How special! And so
Very
when you think
special.
dude, so I'm getting sidetracked, but I almost bought some Valentine's Day chocolate yesterday, and then I was like, I'm gonna wait because it's gonna be so cheap. Tomorrow, I'm going to the store.
Oh,
ooh, that looks nice.
It's amazing.
Cookies and cream.
Those are beautiful.
Oh, hell yeah.
Damn.
I'm going to go to the store tomorrow and stock up on some candy and just play the hell out of some Persona 3 eating Valentine's Day candy by myself. That sounds really sad, but it's going to be fun.
No, that sounds like a blast, honestly.
You guys are really just Persona 3. Like, is it like the JRPG version of Persona or is it the fighting version?
It's the JRPG.
Turn-based, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
turn-based. Okay. But anyways, I got really sidetracked. So for Valentine's Day, if you think of romance and you think of battle spirits, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Obviously, our good friend Dino Man Tyrannoid.
That's right.
Would you care to read Dino Man Tyrannoid's flavor text for everyone?
I would love to read this. Some among the Dragonoids and Pterosaurs could not resist the appeal of forbidden love and had children together.
So, obviously, there was some romance that led to the creation of Dino Man Tyrannoid. And we had talked about making some fan fiction, but it just felt a little weird to write it ourselves. So I decided to just explain to ChatGPT who Dino Man Tyrannoid is, what a Dragonoid is, and what a Pterosaur is. And I even gave it some examples of like what they look like and who some of the main characters are from those different factions. And then I just asked it to write sort of like an erotic fan fiction short story for us about the inception of Dino Man Tyrannoid, or Inception, one of those,
I believe.
Yeah. So it's not graphic, but it's definitely very romantic, and I think if you just want to take it away, Cam. So I did not edit this pretty much at all.
Okay.
I asked it to write two different versions, and I kind of spliced them together a little bit, just because I asked it for some more detail about certain things that you'll read.
I have not read this. Angel has not read this. This is we're going.
I got my drink ready. I'm ready for this romantic novel.
I think it's going to be great.
If anyone doesn't want to hear this and is deciding to close the episode now, please join our Discord. Email us absolutebsspod@gmail.com and give us a like and a sub. We've got a lot of fun stuff in the works. But if you are sticking around, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Yeah. Oh, I also sent you. I asked it to create a cover, like what the book's cover would look like if it were a novel. So I sent you that photo as well.
Oh, it's up, and it is steamy.
Yeah, I don't.
We got a hot lady dragon on the left and a big old solid stud dragon on the right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so this is... Oh my gosh, hold on. The window I have it in is like refusing to respond. It even knows that it shouldn't exist. Okay, here we go. Embers of Unity, the forbidden legacy of Pyraflame and Tyrex. In the sprawling lands where the mighty dragonoids soared the skies and the ferocious pterosaurs roamed the earth, a tale as old as time itself unfolded, hidden from the prying eyes of their respective realms. This is the story of how Dinoman Tyrannoid, a being of both dragonoid and pterosaur lineage, came into existence, a living emblem of forbidden love. Incredible forward. Okay.
Yeah.
Under the rule of Dragno King, the Dragonoids thrived above the clouds, their wings casting shadows over the lands of the pterosaurs, who were governed by the mighty King Giganorex. The two rulers had long decreed that their kind must never intertwine, for the ancient scrolls spoke of a prophecy that such a union would bring forth a new era, one that could either unite their worlds or tear them asunder. Spicy. Forbidden love. We love to see it. Amidst the decree of separation lived a young dragonoid, Pyraflame. She was known for her fiery scales that shimmered like the setting sun, and her spirit as wild as the wind. Her eyes alight with the fires of the setting sun held a depth that spoke of desires unspoken. Spoke of desires unspoken.
Her eyes didn't speak for her.
A yearning for a love that transcended the boundaries set by their kings. On a fateful night, as she flew beyond the boundaries of her home, a storm unlike any other forced her to seek refuge on the ground, a place foreign and forbidden to her kind. It was there, beneath the ancient canopies, where moonlight scarcely touched the ground, that she met him. Tyrex, a young pterosaur warrior with scales as sturdy as the earth itself, and eyes that mirrored the depth of the forests. He, too, had sought shelter from the storm, and in that moment of shared vulnerability, in the shelter of an ancient grove, where the storm's fury could not reach, their destinies intertwined in a dance as old as time. Ooh. I have goosebumps.
Jeez.
Oh, man. Their meeting, shrouded in the secrecy of night's embrace, became a sanctuary where their forbidden love flourished. With each clandestine encounter, their connection deepened, a confluence of fire and earth, air and ground. In the solace of their hidden grove, they explored the depths of their passion, their touches igniting flames where there should have been none, their kisses tasting of the sweet defiance of fate. Good Lord.
Jesus. You're supposed to get refugee from a storm and it turned into that? Talk about one night stand.
Damn.
Damn.
In the whisper of leaves and the sigh of the wind, Pyraflame and Tyrex surrendered to a love that was theirs alone. Beneath the canopy of ancient trees, they discovered the essence of each other's being, their souls entwining with a fervor that defied the edicts of their realms. Their union was a testament to the power of their love, a physical manifestation of their spiritual bond, each caress a rebellion against the world that sought to keep them apart. Despite the laws that forbade their union and the risks of their love being discovered, Pyraflame and Tyrex found solace in each other's company. Their meetings became frequent, under the guise of night's embrace, away from the watchful eyes of their kin. This is so hot. They shared stories of their worlds, dreams of peace, and whispers of love that were meant to be silenced. As seasons changed and their love blossomed, so too did the realization that their union would not remain hidden forever. It was during a night painted with the hues of their forbidden love that Pyraflame whispered of a life growing within her. Sorry.
Oh no.
That got me really good.
It ain't mine. That's not mine.
Yeah. Tyrex bounced immediately.
To the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine if this story like transitions to like they're on an episode of
Maury.
They're on an episode of Maury, yeah.
You are not the father.
Oh boy. It was during a night painted with the hues of their forbidden love that Pyraflame whispered of a life growing within her, a symbol of their undying bond. Dinoman Tyrannoid. Let me switch on over to that picture. Okay, there he is. What a beautiful little lad. Knowing the peril that their child would face if discovered, they sought the wisdom of the Ancient Ones, beings who had watched over their land since time immemorial. The Ancient Ones, moved by their genuine love and the prophecy they unknowingly fulfilled, granted them a haven where Dino Man could grow, shielded from the prejudices of their worlds. Dino Man Tyrannoid was born as a beacon of hope, embodying the strengths of both Dragonoids and Pterosaurs. His existence was a testament to the power of love transcending the ancient enmities that had divided their kind. In secret, Pyroflame and Tyrex raised him, teaching him the virtues of both realms, dreaming of a day when he would bridge the divide between their peoples. As for Pyroflame and Tyrex, their love story remained etched in the annals of the unseen, a legend whispered among those who dared to dream of unity. And though the world was not yet ready to embrace the change Dino Man Tyrannoid represented, the winds of time whispered promises of a future where love would no longer need to hide in the shadows. Thus, beneath the eternal gaze of the stars, the legacy of Pyroflame and Tyrex lived on through Dino Man Tyrannoid, a beacon of hope for a united future, born of a love as profound as the earth and as eternal as the flame. That was fucking awesome.
That is a beautiful love story.
So that's why he's so much more powerful if you only have 2 or fewer spirits, because he was raised in isolation.
Oh, there you go.
Lore accurate smut.
Yeah.
That's the episode title also.
Hey, that was hilarious.
Eric,
Like,
thank you so much for that gift.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we could maybe make that like a regular segment. I think we could just ask ChatGPT to expand on the Battle Spirits lore every now and then.
I love that idea.
Like, tell us what you think, ChatGPT.
So the first time I asked it to write something, it was pretty tame with everything, and I was like, you can be a little more erotic than that.
Yeah.
And then it gave me some more where it gave me the part about the kisses and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm sticking that in.
Dude. Wow. Yeah, there was some really sweet writing in there. I felt
Yeah,
like
it's really well written as well.
It is.
It's literally like something that I would expect to read on like a lore book or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's how Storm Tyrannoid became. It was all storm and it got hot and steamy. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Their
man.
body, their essence, their touches, rebelling
Well,
against their kind.
If you pay close attention, though, it sounds like Pyroflame was going out looking for trouble.
Yeah,
and then
she was.
she's like her eye. What did it say? Her eyes were something about her eyes, like she's like yearning for a forbidden love. Like she was looking for trouble.
She was in her slut era, and honestly, go off, Queen.
She was a college girl at that time. Sorry.
Yeah. She's like, I need
now we have her...
strange. And she got it.
Well,
wow.
Tyrex is as solid as the earth, so I think if you could pick anyone to have a forbidden love child with, he's a pretty solid choice.
Yeah.
He stuck around. He raised Dino Man to be the little man that he is today.
Wow. I am changed. I know that.
Most anybody that listens to that, the viewers are gonna be like, they're never gonna look at those cards the same. They're gonna be like, yeah, I know what you did that rainy thunderstorm night. Like,
They're never gonna look at our podcast the same.
Gosh, yeah. It's like,
I hope we get Tyrex and Pyroflame cards.
Could you fucking imagine?
Yeah, Bandai's listening and they're like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a card.
I'll only play that deck at high level competitions. Is the Forbidden Love deck.
The Forbidden Love deck, yeah. Just like,
oh my gosh. Hey, because here's the thing. Horned Dragonoid Tricero is a promo, and it's considered a Dragonoid pterosaur, but in the flavor text it says, even warring species act with respect toward each other for the sake of the sacred sites. So I don't think it's technically a love child, but there is some touches of that in these cards. You never know.
Never know.
Never
yeah,
know.
I mean, there's more Pterosaurs Dragonoids coming out, so there must have been a lot more rainy nights.
Hey, especially after you push back Mandala, what are you doing to celebrate? You're banging.
Yeah.
You go to the forest.
You go to the
rainy
forest.
night.
You go to the forest.
and you go, yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Is there any
This reminds me
pterosaur?
of the episode of Rick and Morty with the dragons. They have like a soul orgy. It's like
Yeah,
just all the dragon monsters who just said, "Let's come together on this rainy night
and let's come
Bang it
together.
out. Let's volcanic break this right now."
Oh, man.
Like,
Oh boy! All right,
Well,
we gotta stop.
Yeah, I hope
happy,
that.
happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
You
Valentine's
Battle
Day.
Spirit players.
Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that story with a loved one, or if you enjoyed it alone, I hope that it made you feel a little less alone on this very special day. Actually, you're not listening to this on Valentine's Day, so never mind.
Yeah.
I
Hey.
mean, don't. Yeah.
Ira is red. Mandala is blue. I love battle spirits, and I love you too.
I
Oh.
like it. Wow, I like that.
All right.
Until
Let's get
next
out of here.
time, thanks for hanging out on Absolute BSS. We'll be back with another episode next week. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
See ya.
Peace.